Detroit has seen a lot of crazy things and dangerous people, and we can add Clifford Thomas and Jasmine Gordon to that list, and they definitely got what they deserved.
I've seen this one before. Yeah, back in the head.
It all started with
Right, back in the
3-year-old
head.
Jamila, who instead of playing with her mom
Jamila.
Jasmine and boyfriend Clifford like a normal child, she had to be rushed to the hospital for abrasions, bleeding, pneumonia, and even a torn pancreas. Those injuries were all synonymous with child abuse. Unfortunately,
Let me guess,
little
boyfriend.
Jamila could not make it. Jasmine and Thomas were both held in court for the injuries Jamila had suffered.
Could you imagine being that pop star, bro? Getting that call? Especially if you're not a deadbeat, you're an involved dad. You're always there. You just don't live with your baby. Y'all just not together. Like, your baby girl has been beat to death, abused to death by her stupid mama and her boyfriend. Bro, oh my goodness.
The picture of the nightmare that this child lived while she was in the care of these two defendants.
Jasmine got 14 to 25 years for child abuse and 6 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter, and Thomas got 5 to 15 years for involuntary manslaughter. This wasn't it though, as the world had even more punishment to dish out for them.
Wait. Because typically, for the same crime, you're going to have the man do more than... So, was he more of just a bias? I got to look more into this case. Because she got way more time than he did. So I got to look in. So she must have been the one.
For involuntary
that makes
manslaughter,
it even worse. You're
and
her
Thomas
mom.
got 5 to 15 years
my-
for involuntary manslaughter. This wasn't it though, as the world had even more punishment to dish
You're
out
her
for
mom.
them. The court witnessed some vengeful action when Jamila's biological father, Dwayne Smith, socked Clifford Thomas right in the head for what he
The
did to
down
his
punch.
baby girl. But child murder is even worse when it's your own, such as our next killer,
Your own child.
Quinn Bowes, who takes the meaning of Family Feud to a whole new level. In Pacoda, Indiana, an 11-week-old baby lost its
11
life
weeks.
to his own father, Quinn Bowes. Bowes was arrested for the murder of his own son, Parker. Parker died of head trauma. His father,
junior,
Quinn,
bro,
claimed
your
that the
own
baby had
son.
fallen out of his crib and hit his head. But the truth was horrifyingly different. Officials ruled out the falling excuse and announced that the real cause of death was blunt force trauma to the head that's consistent with homicide. What kind of father would do that to his own 3-month-old baby boy? One that deserves to stand in
3
that courtroom.
months.
Quinn received 20 years in prison for his crime and an extra 5 years of probation after reaching a plea agreement to a level 2 felony charge instead of level 4. However, this was not it for Quinn. In a surprising turn of events, as Quinn was being escorted out of the courtroom, he was attacked by none other than baby Parker's uncle.
His brother, yeah. Or the mom's brother, yeah.
The attacker, Jeremiah Hartley, clocked Quinn right in the face and injured him. But once again, the law would not stand for old Western justice, and
I hope they didn't arrest Parker, bro. Wait. Don't tell me about it. I may have paused that too quick. If they arrest not Parker, the brother. If they arrest the brother, that is so scandalous. You gotta remember, this is murder. These people are gone. You are not just taking this person from the world and it doesn't affect other people. Other people are affected. If that's the mom's family, right? Because they didn't say his brother. They just said the child's uncle. So I'm assuming that's the mom's brother, right? He got to be a rock for his sister. You know what I'm saying? And only for you don't think he was excited to be an uncle? You don't think that's something that he wanted to experience? You took a child. The grandparents. It is more than just him. It's more than just the mom. Even the grandparents. They have to be a rock for each other. That whole family is affected. You can't arrest him in this
and injured
moment.
him.
You can't.
But once again, the law would
can't.
not stand for old Western justice and sentenced Hartley to 100 years of probation after being charged with battery. On the topic of families,
So you mean to tell me because I sucked bro in the face for killing my nephew at 3 months old, I get 100 years probation? The justice system don't make sense sometimes. It don't. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I feel like in that instance, you have to understand and let that go. It's a simple battery charge. It's a simple battery charge. And in this case, he's a child murderer. Who cares if he gets hurt? In all seriousness, who really cares? That's crazy to me. 100 years probation is wild for the rest of his
Again,
life.
the law would not stand
He's
for
not
Old
gonna live
Western
100
justice and sentenced Hartley to 100 years of probation after being charged with battery. On the topic of families, they can be one hell of a...
I'm sorry, I had to say this again. So there's a possibility if the child murderer, the baby's father, if he gets parole, he will be out on the streets before this man gets off probation for socking him in the face. That's crazy to me. That's crazy.
Revenge squad for cases such as Jerome Boggs. Jerome Boggs, where courts can become as wild as a wrestling ring. Small towns like Whitesburg, Kentucky can be full of warmth and hospitality, but sometimes a bad seed could ruin the entire atmosphere. It started when Jerome Boggs was going to the house of Timothy Cook to buy some drugs. However, by the end of the deal, Boggs left Cook and his 4-year-old son TJ dead with shots to the chest and head.
Why are you selling drugs? 1, with your children there. 2, why are you selling drugs from your house? Where you live, where people can... They've been there before now. You're selling drugs. This is where your stereotyping has to come into play. You're selling drugs. You have to stereotype that these are not the best models of society. You know what I'm saying? Not from your house and not with your children there. Now you done got your family killed.
Left Cook and his 4-year-old son TJ dead with shots to the chest and head. Obviously, Boggs went to court for his crimes of murder, with his wife also being charged as an...
What is that? Cause this is Thriller. Nice. That's your wife? Yeah, you on drugs. For real. Look at the teeth, bro. And drugs age you. She probably 27, which is crazy to me.
Boggs went to court for his crimes of murder, with his wife also being charged as an accomplice after they both checked into a Super 8 motel after the murder. In court, the judge told Boggs, "I'm going to tell you, Jerome Boggs, you disgust me. If anyone ever deserved the death penalty, you did. You are not fit for the company of decent people." Jerome was charged with murder, robbery, burglary, and drug trafficking, and was sentenced to 2 consecutive life terms and 70 years for his crimes, while his wife got 10 years and was released on good behavior. Apparently, though, Jerome messed with the wrong family when he got attacked in court by not 1, not 2, but 3 of Cook's family members.
3 of them. They came up with a better attack plan than that one,
Not 2,
bro. That was
but 3
that was
of Cook's
easily
family
shut down.
members.
They shut that down quick. That's 2. 3.
Our next killer, Deshaun Brown, doesn't have the blood of 1 victim on his hands, but 2. As we have another skin-crawling murder of a child case took place in Hamilton County, Cincinnati, at the hands of Deshaun Brown. Let's set the scene. A security guard stumbled upon a body bag and immediately called 911.
You didn't bury the body bag?
The body was identified as Nitisha Lattimore, and her 3-year-old son, Nilo, was also murdered, but his body wasn't found. The killer? Nitisha's boyfriend, Deshaun Brown. Apparently, Deshaun stabbed Nitisha, and he wheeled Nilo into a river, and the stroller was found after Nitisha's body.
He chose to...
So you... Oh... and maybe it's because I have a fear of drowning, so like to me that's like oof. It's oof anyway, but like it's a stop having these men around your children. I'm sorry that I'm sorry, women, that men can't. I don't know in a general sense, not all, but there's some out there, and unfortunately, in this world that we live, you don't have the sign crazy floating above your head when you meet somebody. So people, you just have to see the red flags and stuff like that. But when you have children and you're dating, unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't think you really need to be dating like that till they get older. I'm sorry. I don't think, not when you got a 3-year-old. Not when you have a 3-year-old. Unless you just don't ever bring him around the child for a minute, for a while. A while. And when I say a while, I mean a while. My thing is, how far are we? This is like number 3? Case number 3, number 4? Where's the death penalty at? You know what I'm saying? Can we just, as a government, as a people, as a body, can we come together and say, you kill a child? But then at the same time, I feel like that's too merciful. Because once we don't know what happens after death. Once we kill you, that's it for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel no more pain. You don't feel sad. You don't feel hungry. I just feel like we need some type of capital punishment to where like it's like a slow death. You know what I'm saying? Like starvation, thirst. I don't know. We cut you every day and squeeze a lemon on you. Just lemon for the rest of your life until you pass away. Something like that.
Deshaun Brown. Apparently, Deshaun stabbed Nitisha, and he wheeled Nilo into a river, and the stroller was found after Nitisha's body.
He chose to kill Nilo in an incredibly barbaric method.
Not only is Deshaun a murderer, but a devilish planner, as he had the body driven in an Uber and said the bag was full of clothes.
Deshaun Brown is a monster.
In the midst of all this chaos, a hero came up called Antoine Hughes. When Brown was standing trial, Antoine, the real father of Nilo, attacked Brown in court and punched him vigorously.
I feel like you gotta let that happen. You gotta let that one go.
Regardless of the attack, Brown couldn't escape the wrath of the court, as he is now awaiting trial, as he is facing the death penalty. Murder is humanity's greatest sin, but there are some crimes that can be just as heinous, such as sexual assault by our last offender. Michigan's Larry Nassar, an athletics trainer and U.S. gymnastics team doctor, turned violent sex offender.
U.S. gymnastics.
Nassar would start getting several complaints regarding his behavior. For this doctor, the complaints weren't bad handwriting or wait time, but something far, far worse: sexually abusing his athletes. Nassar was accused of several instances of sexual assault by women and athletes such as Rachel Denhollander, and the accusations kept coming and coming until they reached a whopping 265 victims.
You just wouldn't stop. You wouldn't stop. You wouldn't stop. It shouldn't have happened in the first place, but you just wouldn't. 265? Do y'all know how much 265 people is? 265. I mean, I know that, but try to put 265 people in a room. Plan a party for 265 people. That's a lot of people. Electric chair.
Accusations kept coming and coming until they reached a whopping 265 victims. Sexual abuse is truly stomach-turning, as in 2016, Nassar was indicted on multiple state charges of sexual assault of a child. 3 of his victims, Morgan Margraves, Madison Margraves, and Lauren Margraves, came forward with their allegations against their former team doctor. Nassar allegedly molested the 3 victims while on duty as the team doctor, going as far as touching them inappropriately without gloves when one of them was only 13 years old.
My 2 sisters and I have had such a hard time just trying to talk to each other about this since we all had bad experiences with you.
The father of the 3
The whole
victims was so
family,
enraged
bro.
that he directly asked the judge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pops, yeah. I don't even think I would, bro. My little girls. You're trusted. And the thing is, people have a stereotype. They have an image of a criminal, right? Of a criminal. You say the word criminal to them and they have an image. And 9 times out of 10, this is not what they picture. He's not what they picture. You know what I'm saying? He's a doctor, wearing glasses, you know what I'm saying? Very small in stature. We're going to reiterate he's a doctor. So this is somebody you would trust, but you got to keep an eye out. You got to keep an eye out for everybody. And it's sad that it's the life that we live in, and that's just the reality of our world. But you have to keep an eye out for everybody, bro. Because criminals, rapists, murderers, weirdos come in all shapes, sizes, creeds, colors, occupations, in any category. Every category, they're there. And just like with the boyfriends, they don't have a sign above their head saying murderer, rapist, pedo. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that above their head. As a father, man, I would that feeling, I wouldn't put that on anybody. And I feel like this without having any kids. I can only imagine what having 3 teenage girls and it happened to all 3 of them. He probably would have.
Bad experiences with you.
The father of the 3 victims was so enraged that he directly asked the judge for even just 1 minute in a locked room with Nassar.
I would ask you to, as part of the sentencing, to grant me 5 minutes in a locked room with this demon.
And he said serious.
Would you do that? Yes or no? Would you give me 1 minute?
Of course, the judge rejected his request, and just as she did, the father went into attack mode.
Yeah. But you do what you gotta do for your daughters, bro. You do what you gotta
With
do
the
for your
father
daughters.
having every right to be this vengeful, the judge excused him, and he got no punishment for his assault. As for Nassar, he pleaded guilty in 2017 to the accounts of criminal sexual conduct, and after multiple sentencings, he ultimately received 60 years in federal prison and 10 to 175 years in Michigan State Prison.
Yep,
Sir,
never
you
getting
do
out.
not deserve
Never getting out.
to walk outside of a prison
Never
ever
getting out.
again.
Get it out, yes sir. But yeah, he gotta get touched. He gotta get touched somehow. I don't know if in prison. I just wish, as a police officer in that last clip, I feel like you gotta be a little slow to the takeoff. He older, you know what I'm saying? Give him a second to get there. Let him get the hit off, and then you come in. You know what I'm saying? That's when you try to protect and serve. That's when you gotta do that. You gotta let him get that one.